My Ace Boon Coons, what is up? Today's February 5th, 2025. Today's video is going to bring the world together. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Today's video is going to change the world. It's going to change the way you think. Please believe it. Please act on it. Please listen. And please don't hate. Today's video, I am going to break down how life can actually be so very simple. All right. To me, life is love and hate. You either love or you hate. It's one or the other. It's that simple. Okay. So, with that being said, this is going to be a very hard video. I've already deleted it about 7 times because I'm looking for the right words. God bless me. God bless you with the right words to create this video. And I hope that you guys see the point. I believe people vote nowadays uneducated, without any form or care for policy or logic. Okay? So I came to the conclusion that people vote for someone because of how they speak or how they look. I'm going to go down a list of policies, and everyone has a policy, and it's usually just one policy. I know there's tons of policies, but it's usually one policy that is the deciding factor as to who you are going to vote for. Okay? Now, if you realize that, you will see that we are all the same. We are all very much alike, and we are all on this green earth for the same purpose, and that is to love your neighbor, to do unto others as you would want to be done to you. Yes? Which one of these policies best suits why you chose your president, your favorite president, or why you voted, or why you pick a side? Okay? Which one of these policies? Economy, immigration, LGBT or human rights, um, education, our prison industry, incarceration, our judicial system, the medical industry, agriculture, our food industry, the FDA, religious freedom, or military strength. Now there's more policies. Most people would probably say there's a ton of policies, but if we're going to be honest, I think most people would probably choose economy. Yes, but believe it or not, that is not my number one pick. That is not the reason why I vote the way I do, or lean towards a political side more than another, because I voted for Obama when he was running, because he was black. Okay, I voted for Obama because I wanted to see the first black president. Had no idea of what his policies were, what he was going to do in the long run. He spoke a lot about unity. Yeah, very much for unifying this world and not dividing it any more than it already is. Um, I I was then turned off after he was already elected because he started dividing people instead of doing what he said he was going to do, unifying people. Okay? I'll get to how he did that, in my opinion, later on in the video. But then I chose a more conservative approach. I started becoming older. I had kids, and I got a little more conservative in my thoughts and my policies. And I chose Trump. Why? Because I started realizing what was more important to me, specifically to myself, to my family. But then he started saying some dumb shit. So I came to the realization that people started hating on Trump because he comes from a very firm point of view. His rhetoric, he is not good with his words. Definitely not a good as a good of a speaker as Obama was. But his policies seem to affect me personally. And if we're gonna be honest again, that is the way most of us are. But I saw that he did not unify Trump. I'm speaking of Trump still, even though I voted for him, even though I saw his policies affecting my life in a better way, he was still not hitting the mark, which is unifying people, bringing people together. I still have not heard the speech on unity that I want to hear, but that still does not mean I hate him. That still does not mean I can't stand him or that he's any better than Obama or Clinton or any one of these people, because I came to the conclusion that if you've seen any of my other videos, I stand firm on not trusting a man. I only trust God, my higher power. Why? Because Jesus Christ has never said anything wrong. He was all about that unity, which is my number one point. I want, we deserve to all get along. So I'm going to give you a list of examples of how politics is full of double standards. Politicians are full of double standards. Everyone wants to get voted in. There is a never-ending lust of power with man, with humans, especially politicians. I'm sorry I got interrupted, but I lost my train of thought, but I think I left off at double standards and trusting anyone. So Jeremiah 17:5 states, "Damned is the man who trusts in a man." So as long as you can understand that, I think you will be in a better place. You will understand, first of all, you got to have some sort of faith. You got to believe in something. I believe in God and Lord Jesus Christ, because it just makes the most sense to me. I'm not telling you what to believe or how to believe it, but you need a personal journey, a personal instructor, a teacher, a God, your Lord and Savior. I'm not gonna go there, but you need to understand that man will let you down. If I voted for Trump, if I voted for Biden, if I voted for Kamala, it doesn't matter. I voted for them because of a policy that I hold dear to my heart. You know, it's not because of what they look like, how they speak, or how they carry themselves. It's because I'm putting a little bit of trust in them that they're going to do what they said they were going to do. All right. So, which policy is the one you hold dear to your heart? Hopefully, you're not stupid enough, like I was, to just vote for someone or like or dislike a person for how they look or how they speak. It is a policy. Which policy is it? Is it the economy? Is it immigration? Is it LGBT, human rights? Is it education? Is it the medical industry? Pick one. Pick one. And then once you pick it, you're going to realize I don't hate Trump supporters. I don't hate Biden supporters. I hate this policy. I hate this certain point of view that is not helping me as a person, is not helping my family. My policy is freedom, freedom of speech, freedom to travel, freedom to carry a weapon, to defend myself, freedom of religion, freedom to worship, however, whenever I want, you know? And once I see someone intruding in that freedom, then democracy is gone. And what is America? America is a democracy, right? So just because your special interest in immigration is not my interest, that doesn't mean I'm going to hate you or hate you because of who you voted for. Just because you lean more towards science versus spirituality, God, or religion, the freedom of religion, that doesn't mean I'm going to hate you because you believe what you want to believe. So when someone says, I hate or dislike Trump supporters, or I hate or dislike Biden Harris supporters, you're automatically disqualified to give an opinion if you cannot back that up as to why. Because most people are just hating because they're haters. Life is simple, and this is what is going to bring us together. Okay? So this video, I am going to show you what is dear to my heart. Like I told you, it is the freedom to say what I want respectfully, with prudence, with some wisdom. I'm not gonna fucking yell bomb in a theater. I'm not gonna slur, say racial slurs, or type that in Google or Twitter or whatever the hell, because I'm not that stupid. You know what I mean? So don't be dumb. Don't hate. Lean towards love. Lean towards actually unifying. Don't let politics divide you. What will divide you is love and hate. That is the only division there. Do you love more or do you hate more? Okay? So now that you know what my interest is, what my policy is, which is again freedom, the freedom to wisely be able to say what I want to say without the fear of being prosecuted. That is why I voted the way that I voted. Okay? Lies, 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 lies have come out of every single president's mouth. Well, those double standards started adding up to me on one side more than the other. So therefore, I picked a side, and that is the conservative side. But again, I might have voted for Trump. I don't trust the man until he is truly anointed by God or truly unifies the world. That is when I will put a little bit more trust in a man. But until then, Jeremiah 17:5, damned is the man who puts his trust in a man. Man will always let you down. So here's a few videos, a few examples of what I mean, and hopefully this will give you some clarification as to who I am. This is a personal video. This was probably the hardest video I've made yet, because my words can easily be misconstrued, and people are stupid. People are dumb. People just don't get it. People will judge you by what you're saying or because of who you like. Okay, don't be stupid. Don't be dumb. Just be fair. Just be loving. Be kind, bro. It's free. All right, here comes the videos.
Social media companies already make choices about what is or is not allowed on their platforms and how that content appears, both explicitly through content moderation and implicitly through algorithms. The problem is we often don't know what principles govern those decisions. In some cases, industry standards may replace or substitute for regulation, but regulation has to be part of the answer. Beyond that, tech companies of the answer. Beyond that, tech companies need to be more transparent about how they operate. So,
keyword, transparent.
all we see is a constant feed of content where useful, factual information and happy diversions and cat videos flow alongside lies, conspiracy theories, junk science, quackery, white supremacist, racist tracks, misogynist screeds. And over time, we lose our capacity to distinguish between fact, opinion, and wholesale fiction. Or maybe we just stop caring. All we see is...
Boom. He nailed it at the end. We just stop caring. That's basically it. But transparency and truth is what will set the good from the evil. Transparency and truth. And this is how the left began losing me. I stopped hearing truth. They wanted their truth to be my truth. It don't work that way. I wanted to make my own choice, my own decision. And he said quack science versus truths. Now, science, as the years go by, has been proven to be wrong as well. So you want me to believe your science, but not my own, not make my own assessment. Nah.
Understand, it's not necessary for people to believe this information in order to weaken democratic institutions. You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage. You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theorizing that citizens no longer know what to believe. Once they lose trust in their leaders, in mainstream media, in political institutions, in each other, in the possibility of truth, the game's won. Understand, it's not...
Well, there's an old saying, an old quote by Joseph Goebbels, the minister of propaganda for the Nazis, that says, you tell a lie once, it remains a lie. You tell the same lie 1,000 times, it becomes the truth.
And we wonder why we have fake news. So in 2013, when he signed this law, the H.R. 4310, it was a Modernization Act. And he also had the National Defense Act. And I do believe Obama believed this. If you aren't serious about facts and what's true and what's not, if we can't discriminate between serious arguments and propaganda, I think we do have a problem. It's hard to believe he could say that with such a straight face. After all, he has opened the door for the DNC and the mainstream media to use propaganda. It is now a law. So make the lie big, make it simple, keep saying it, eventually you will believe it. All propaganda has to be popular and has to be accommodating itself to the comprehension of the least intelligent of those whom it seeks to reach, Adolf Hitler.
So those are some very good quotes. Make the lie big, make it simple, keep saying it, and eventually they will believe it. Adolf Hitler. All propaganda has to be popular, and has to accommodate itself to the comprehension of the least intelligent of those whom it seeks to reach. Adolf Hitler. Now that is how the left lost me, because I saw them doing exactly what the Nazis were doing. Now, which side calls the other side Nazis? I started realizing it was the left, the Democratic side, that was calling Trump the Nazis, the new era of Nazis. Okay? Well, that's point in case right there. Which is also being seen today and is also a quote by, I'm not sure if it was Hitler or Joseph Goebbels, his propaganda minister, that said, blame the other side for what we are doing. That is a quote. I'm going to find it for you. And you tell me if that is not what is happening nowadays. This is a Jewish family stating what I just stated.
In light of today's political climate, I was reminded this weekend of two famous sayings of Joseph Goebbels, who was the propaganda minister of the Germans in World War II. Mm-hmm. And he famously said the following two things. The first one, most people know. The second one, I'm not sure if it's been given enough publicity. The first one is, don't tell a lie, tell a big lie. And that seems to work very well, especially in today's political environment. The second one is, blame your opponent, blame your enemy for exactly that which you are doing, and make them look bad. And as vicious as both of these things are, they're happening all over again, constantly. And especially those who accuse people of doing things, it's exactly the things that they're doing. Mm-hmm. They're blaming others for doing, as if to get this off of their shoulders. But we're back to 1933 to 1945. It's
so how do we deal with that when we know that these things are happening and we're seeing history repeating itself?
You have to call it out.
Yeah.
You have to say, you know who you sound like? And you sound like Joseph Goebbels. That's it.
Yeah.
In light of today's political climate.
So, point in case, once again. Point in case. Both sides do it. You see the left blaming the right for what they're doing, and you see the right blaming the left for what they're doing. But who is doing it more, in my opinion? Again, don't hate me for this. It seems that the left does it more to the right. Don't hate me for this. This is my assessment. But if I were to write that down or post that on the internet, the left would probably prosecute me. I'm not just saying that. If I were to do that, if I were to make my opinion public, I'm going to show you the next clip where Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, and Barack Obama wanted to prosecute people for putting something on the internet that did not favor their side or their opinion or their policies. One sec.
Hillary Clinton, this is from this April, so long after you were indicted, after you went on trial, and this is Hillary Clinton describing that meme.
There was just a trial in Brooklyn where a guy, one of the main people running memes against me in 2016, he went from what you could consider free speech to running a very deliberate effort to mislead people about where and how to vote. So it went from speech to action meant to subvert the election, because thousands of people who they targeted through their algorithms, oh, I can text my vote for Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton apparently took that very seriously. You were using quote, algorithms to subvert the election with that meme.
I don't even really know what she means by that. I guess you post something and it gets taken up into algorithms. Not exactly sure.
Did you have personal algorithms that you used?
No.
Hillary Clinton.
But if the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm. But if the platform and boosting Trump back in 2016, but I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence, because the press needs a consistent, the press that's not supporting Trump blatantly, very persistently, the press that's trying to be the press, be objective, be, reporting the facts. The press needs a consistent narrative about the danger that Trump poses. The press.
And that, and who the hell are you to tell me the facts? That is how they lost me. I'm supposed to believe you, mainstream media, versus boots on the ground, versus my own opinion, my own assessment, my own judgment.
In my view, repealing something called Section 230, which gave, platforms on the internet immunity because they were thought to be just pass-throughs, that they shouldn't be judged for the content that is posted. But we now know that that was an overly simple view, that if the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects.
Lose total control. I guess this is what happens when you vote Democrat.
Anyway, you get in the picture, right? Now, this is what holds dear to my heart, was the freedom of speech. I'm going to be prosecuted if I put something up that you don't like or that you don't agree with. Well, why can't we do the same to them? You see the double standard? I mean, what about the things that you embed in our children's heads that I don't agree with? Can we prosecute you? I mean, come on now. Fair is fair. So, again, I'm not telling you what to believe. I am just telling you, don't hate. You hold something very dearly to your heart, and it's a certain policy. And to me, these are the policies that I hold dear and that I feel have caused the most division. And we need some unity, people, but we need truth. We need transparency. We're not getting that. Donald Trump, I hope you hear this. Bring us some unity. Give us some end this division. Do an executive order on hate speech or lies or double standards. An executive order on double standards. How about that?
You can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation, and that has to stop.
Here's a good one.
All of these social media companies and these online platforms, which are so powerful in their ability to impact perception about an issue and to influence behaviors. Let's be clear about that. There have to be standards, and he and his account should be taken down. We saw in El Paso that shooter in his manifesto was informed by how Donald Trump uses that platform. And this is a matter of corporate responsibility. Twitter should be held accountable and shut down that site. It is a matter of safety and corporate accountability.
Thank you. Senator Warren, you can respond.
So, look, I don't just want to push Donald Trump off Twitter. I want to push him out of the White House. That's our job.
But the way... Join me in saying that his Twitter account should be shut down.
Let's figure out...
No?
Why it is that
he has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation. And that has to stop. Donald Trump has 65 million followers on Twitter, and we have to take seriously the weaponization of this platform by the president and the need, therefore, of a private. All of these social.
I mean, come on now. That is what really, really, really hurts. How about we take down the mainstream media already? That is a public safety hazard. You know, why are we public safety hazards? You see my point? anyway.
We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable as a community. We will hold...
That's major. To me, that is major. Who's holding you accountable? You tell a lie once, it becomes, it stays a lie. You tell the same lie 1,000 times, it becomes the truth. Remember that, people. I don't know. So anyway, the whole point of this was to don't pick a side. If you're gonna pick a side, pick the side of truth and freedom. Unite. Like, we can get along. There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. But next time you speak to someone that is opposed to your politics or vice versa, you're opposed to their politics, don't hate them for it. Don't hate them for it. Ask them, what policy do you hold dear to your heart? I think that can help us become more unified, become more understanding, a wiser people, and the truth will set us free. You know, the propaganda on the mainstream media is a weapon. It was used by Nazis. It was used by Joseph Goebbels and Adolf Hitler. They knew what the hell they were doing. They knew that if we keep repeating this rhetoric over and over again, their kids will grow up and believe in this shit. But what did that do? They actually did it, and they're still doing it, and it has divided us immensely. Anyway, God bless you. I'm going to leave it at that. This was a hard video to make. I might edit this. I might take out the first TED Talk that I did for the first 4, 8, 10, 14 minutes. I'm not sure how long that was, but I'm sorry if I bored you. But my intentions are good. I want to unite us. We need to be more united. We need to understand what is really dividing us. And it is propaganda.